Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah. How are
Hello,
you?
how are you?
Great.
Thank you so much, first and foremost, for doing this. I know you're an extremely busy guy.
Yeah. Where are you?
I'm in Wales,
Where's? Wow. Cool.
so
Very nice.
it's 5 o'clock here. And can you thank Erika for me as well? She's been amazing.
Yeah. She's. It's unbelievable when we open. Tell me your first name again. I'm so embarrassed.
Dan,
Dan.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. I remember when we opened our business about almost 5 years ago, and we were doing business cards, and we had to give her a title, and it was a joke because the stuff she does would be a
yeah.
list.
Yeah, no, she was great. I'm so grateful to her because I know, like I said, you do all this work, and so I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we actually, just to give you a bit of background, I play drums for Carnival Cruise Lines, and so I play full time with them. And about, I think in 2015, I want to say, I was studying in the UK, and then I managed to get on to the Berklee 5 week program, and
Oh yeah.
you were actually my technique instructor.
Oh, I don't remember that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I did
Which level was it?
the highest one, I think, because I remember that it's like it,
Those are fun. Those are fun, right?
yeah, it changed. It kind of it like really gave me a lot of. I'll never forget you sitting us down in that class and then saying, everyone who made it in this room is most likely going to become a professional musician, and that has stuck with me for like, what is it now? 2021, like 6, 7 years.
Yeah, it's like I had great mentors, Alan Dawson and Jim Shaping, Freddie Gruber, Gary Shafee, and they had such an impact on my life. And sometimes, are we live or this is a recording?
We're not live, no. Well, like
Okay.
this is just a recording, just in case you want to say anything that we'll just take out later. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, for me, like I teach it like an insane amount of
Yeah,
students.
yeah.
I just finished the spring semester,
Hmm.
and I'll never do that again in my whole life because I did January, February, March until now, and I was teaching full time at Berklee online, full time at the Drumset Coach Academy, which is my school, my new school, which I'm very excited to talk to you about that in a
Yeah.
minute. The Player School of Music and the drumsetcoach.com. And literally, I just finished 780 sessions, and I love it and I hate it at the same time because I had to make decisions. I mean, it's a blessing, God bless me so much, but um, it's like the days were just like this. It's insanity. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sessions a day, and I had to make decisions like, do I eat lunch or I get in the car and go? Do I sleep or I recorded that video for that student? And it was totally insanity. My family, they kind of didn't see me, and right towards the end, well, there was a reason that we did that. But I'm a little ADD, but why I'm mentioning that is because you teach all those students, and some of the guys, you're changing their lives forever, and you don't realize because then the summer comes and the fall. So once in a while, I got guys like you, like let me tell this story, which is great for me. That's the best price, I swear. The best price is actually not the money, is the emails that I got. And when somebody like you, if I inspired you to do something, it gives me assurance to keep going and to realize that what I do might be important. It reaffirms that's a blessing to have my flock. You're part of my flock, right?
Yeah.
So years ago, this guy calls me and says, "Hey, are you going to PASIC? PAS, the Percussive Arts Society." I said, "Yeah, my name is," I'm going to tell his name in a minute because you might know this guy because he became famous. "I'm such and such, and you changed my life. Uh, I was your student at Southern Miss because when I went to get my master's degree, I was teaching full time, and was not like Berklee, but I was teaching 50 students a week or something like that. It was the first time I had a lot of students. Now it's like way more than that. But he said, you transformed my life. And he shared his testimony with me, how I'm responsible for his whole, like I totally changed his life. And he wants to take me to lunch at Pacing. And he told me his name. And I really didn't remember, because what I say, for the past 10 years, 700, average 780 sessions. And some of those sessions are actually classes.
Yeah.
So it's literally on the thousand. So it's hard to remember. I remember a lot of people if they stay like private lessons
Yeah.
or they, life, right? So when I saw him, I remembered him. And he took me to lunch, and that was Stephen Taylor. He's like a legend now online, right? And he's blew me away what he's doing online with that Stephen Stephen Drumshed, and I watched. I said, "Oh my goodness, man!" So that was such a pleasure to hear testimony of a seed that was planted, and he made a forest out of it, right?
Yeah.
And then at that same convention, I was telling him what I was struggling a little bit, because I was teaching at Berklee full time, and on Saturdays I like to teach private, but this Saturday was not long enough. I had 8 students every Saturday, and there was more people trying to study with me than I can afford to teach them, because I don't have no time. And I felt bad about this. So he actually helped me. We sat down a couple of times during that convention, usually at night, and he gave me a lot of great ideas. So now you have the student coaching the teacher, full circle,
Yeah.
because he was such an expert on marketing. And I still respect him very much. And I talk to him like after spending 9 years at Berklee, almost 10 years without stopping, I want to take a leave of absence.
Right.
And I don't know who to bounce ideas with. I called him from Berklee, and I said, hey, what do you think of, here I am like a Berklee professor, his teacher. I want to see his opinion, because I know he loves me and I respect him. And he talked to me about a couple of things, and he's married with kids, I'm married with kids. And he helped me make that decision, which I did. And then I had a long conversation with him about, hey man, you on your own, I'm thinking about jumping ship and creating my own school. And we talked for a long time, almost for an hour. And he was so supportive, and he helped me thinking about some scenarios, which like very funny. He goes, what is your fears? He goes, he was great. He said, all right, let's go to the worst scenario. Everything's gonna go wrong. Nobody wants to study with you. Nobody. So what do? He said, can't you deliver pizza? Can you work on that? We can, right? So basically, he was great. He was great. We laughed so hard, and but he made, on a serious note, made me really believe that I can do this. But anyway, so here is an example, like somebody like you that was off my radar, and Gary Shafe is somebody like that to me. Now he knows, but years ago he had no idea, and I've been with him from late 80s until now. I know that he retired, and I guess I can start talking about this, which is unbelievable. He had a meeting with me and Erika, because Erika is my manager, and he said, hey, I want to have a meeting with you, and I want Erika to be there. And I was at my school on Zoom, and Erika was at home on Zoom. And he said, listen, I'm retired. We start laughing, because he retired like 3 times. And then he said, no, this time is for real, and I want you to take over. I just cry like a baby, man.
That's unbelievable.
He said, yeah, I mean, that's heavy. He said, I wanted to take over. I can't do it anymore. I'm tired and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I couldn't believe it, man. I cried so much. He said, he said, of all the guys that I teach, there's 2 people that knows my stuff inside out. One of the guys, I don't know the guys. He's in Europe. He just won a Grammy for something. We got to hook it up. But he wants me to take over the part Pardon's series, and he sent all this documentation. He nominated me the master teacher of the Pardon series, master teacher. So I have all documentation. We have videos. We're gonna make a big announcement because fall 2021, I'm work on these mega projects, and I have all from '88 until now. I started with him on and off, and I recorded everything on cassettes, and I have notes. And he just sent me a bunch of stuff. And once in a while, I think like, "Hey, I forgot this or I forgot that." And I mean, my last correspondence with him is like because the reason I went to Berklee is because once I start discovering Vinny Colaiuta and Steve Smith, they started with Alan Dawson, Gary Chaffee, and they went to Berklee. That's why I went to Berklee and started with Alan Dawson and Chaffee. But he's sending me so much stuff, some old notes. You know, he sent me a bunch of stuff, and
Oh my God.
and this is unbelievable. So I'm working on this mega project, which is after I started with Alan Dawson for 8 years and with John Ramsey. I produced something on my school called The Extensions of the Teachings of Alan Dawson, which John Ramsey and I presented at PASIC. John Ramsey is the author of this book here.
Yeah, me and you actually on our first class, me and you played the first part of the ritual up to single strokes.
So you probably gained my respect right away.
Me and you played it together. I'll never ever forget it ever.
So we did the extensions because I didn't stop, you know. So I showed John Rams. I said, "Hey, check this out. Those are some extensions." And he really loves me like a drum dad. And he said, "Man," he told me that I'm on that level, that I'm becoming one, you know. And then I produced this product with him because he also had some extensions. And then it's called The Extensions of the Teaching of Alan Dawson, which is very advanced. And we present a couple of clinics together, and we went to PAS. So and now I'm doing the extensions of the teachings of Gary Chaffee, which is unbelievable because just to play Gary's stuff as is nearly impossible. But to expand on that is really. So Gary's being very generous to send me stuff, and I have all old notes. I have a lot of stuff with his own handwritten stuff. And for the last 3 years, we are talking about stuff that's not on the books. It's not on his books, you know.
Yeah, his pattern series is absolutely incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's nothing. That's incredible. That's absolutely baby stuff. 2011, I go back to Boston and I tried to convince him to get out of retirement, and then he reluctant said, "Okay, why you wanted to start? You don't need to start with me again." I said, "I do. I said, "Who the heck I'm gonna go take lessons with, you know?"
Yeah.
So I visited him a few times. We had great conversations. Went out to dinner, and then I said, "Hey, I want to pay you. I want to have lessons again." And I show up there with the books. He goes like, "What is this? You know, we can't go back there, you know." So it was all applications and was beautiful. And he's such a genius. And no, here I am. Like now, I'm a Berklee professor. I'm not a little kid anymore. And I go in there, and every time I'm with him, I feel like a kindergarten.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know.
Yeah, which is so wild, and it's so incredible to hear that, because I think people are under a misconception that when you learn and you're a certain ability, you just stop. But it never works like that, does it?
No, I'm a student, and here's the thing, man. More I know that I don't know anything. You know, I was talking to Erika the other day. I was auditioning one guy one time with Kenwood Denard, Professor Kenwood Denard, you know. And this guy came in, he totally sucked, but he didn't know he sucked. He's very happy, you know. We're like, isn't it awesome? Like, he doesn't even know he sucks, you know. But, you know, just as a teacher, and I know I'm a great teacher because not to be sound like a jerk, but how do you know? Well, it's the number of students, man. You know, by the fall 2019, I was teaching more classes at Berklee, designing more courses, and wrote more books than anybody in there, you know. And I can go in the database and see that because I can see the rosters. So that's my proof, right? If I suck, nobody will be signing up for my classes, you know?
That's right. And your proof is also testimonials like this. We wouldn't be doing a podcast right now if I didn't remember who you were. But I remember who you were
That's right.
because of the impact you had when I was there in 5 weeks. You know,
Yeah.
like, let alone imagine 3 years.
Yeah, but check this level. Check Gary's level, right? Professor Berklee, everybody tell me every day that I blow their mind, and I go every time I'm with him. It's like when I was with Alan. I really feel like I'm in kindergarten. He's like on another whole galaxy, man.
Yeah.
And he always had tons and tons of stuff to show me. And towards the end, we talk mostly on the phone, and each phone conversation was just like a blessing. I'm very fortunate, very lucky, and now I'm extrapolate on that,
Yeah.
and doing some extensions and helping the student digest. So I can't wait. So if you can help me promote this fall 2021,
Definitely.
the Drumset Coach Academy is the only school in the world that is authorized to teach his stuff. And then I have this new book coming out, which is the extensions of the teaching of Gary Shafee, which has a collection of things that is not published,
And students can learn with you from wherever. You do remote lessons.
Yeah, I teach on Skype and I teach on Zoom. And I have something that's incredible right now. I have an elite group of people on the drumsetcoach.com. These is people that are with me for about 4 years. And they're the best students that I ever had in my life. They're not really students no more. They're like heavy players. But here's something that's kind of difficult for a guy like me because I thrive teaching advanced students.
Yeah.
And the problem with this is like, so this group is about 12 to 6, maybe 20 people or less, but they did my entire hand and foot technique 1, hand and foot technique 2, the entire thing, the ultimate hand technique, the molar course, the polyrhythm. Those guys are monster players because they built that foundation. So if you want to study the extensions of the teachings of Gary Shafee, you gotta first go and he started with me the regular stuff so you can build. Otherwise you're gonna be struggling.
Yeah, I absolutely love that, and we will definitely get on to your advice for teachers and students in a bit. I would love to know, you have done some of the most incredible work. Like, you are one of the busiest people I've ever spoken to, and so you played in front of the president, vice president, you've done Carnegie Hall several times, you've been a Berklee professor for 10 years. How did you get there? What was your journey like?
Struggle, right? I came to America right after high school. Oh, let me tell you, I talk a lot and my stuff everything is deep, but I'll try to go as fast as I can. So I'm in Brazil. My dad is a chemical engineer. My mom is an amazing mom. My mom always told me I could do whatever I wanted to do. And I was in Brazil, but I like jazz. I start reading about jazz, and the drum set is American instrument, New Orleans. So I really want to come to America and go to Berklee, but I couldn't afford that. So somehow I got applied to Berklee. The first time I was denied because I didn't have any year training or harmony knowledge. So here's a lesson for you. Instead of saying okay, I go solve that problem. And then I apply again. I was rejected again because I didn't have like fluent English language, ILS, whatever you call it. So I had to go and do that. And then finally they accept me on probation. Like, you come and do the summer. If you do well, we accept you. Now I like a design course for the college, right? so my entire thing at Berklee was really tough because I come to America, the best country in the world. I have no mom, no dad, no friend, nothing. Just God and I, man. And it was a struggle, It was a struggle. And it's hard work to this day, Sometimes, when I talk to my clients, because I do coaching, life coaching, if you go to the drumsetcoach.com, not only you can book drum set lessons, but you can book some business coaching lessons. And here's something I tell people: how can somebody teach you how to be successful if they are failures? You know, I can't make you follow my path, but I can say something that's gonna hurt people's feelings, because it's just hard work. I wake up early and I work focused, and I in 8 years I'm gonna say this, but I don't want to sound like this guy's a jerk. But
No,
the reason I say is because I want you to ask this question: why should I listen to this guy?
yeah.
Right? Okay, so in 8 years I wrote 13 books, and I didn't take sabbatical. I took Saturdays. Right? I designed courses. I got promoted to full professor early. Usually take 20, 30 years. I full professor in 8 years. Right? And he's like, "You're such a jerk." No, but I was there at 6:45 in the morning. Nobody was there at 6:45 in the morning. I knew every janitor. I knew every delivery truck guys. The other guys stroll over there at 10 and they leave at 3. I'm there from 6:45 to 7:08. It's a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
When I start teaching at Berklee, Mike Mangini resigned to go play with Dream Theater. That's the position. That's kind of heavy, right?
Yeah.
So they just dumped his schedule in my lap, So now I had to teach Afro-Cuban lab, Brazilian lab, double bass lab, polyrhythm lab, rock pop, all that stuff. And I just care about my students. And I developed this system of four-dimensional teaching. So if you start with me, you're going to have PDF, you're going to have audio, video, and coaching. I'm going to email you. I'm going to check during the week how you guys doing. It's really amazing, right? So then after that, after 10 years there, I kind of got burned out a little bit because, I've practiced from 7 to 10, and then I teach 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 12 to 1, lunch hour 1 to 2, then I teach 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, office hours, start over. I just couldn't take it anymore. It's like, Peter Erskine is here. I can't see it. I'm teaching. Harry Mason is our artist in resident. I can't go see. I'm teaching. I'm on the basement. It's like a blue collar. I love the job, but I need a little break, right?
Yeah.
So that's the journey is trying to make everything has a reason. Why did I create the drumsetcoach.com? Okay, students who come to my office and say, "Hey, I don't understand that molar thing. How does that go?" And I would say, "Okay, let me do a video for you on the phone and I email you." And then I noticed the guys that I was sending videos to, they getting better faster.
Right.
So I start doing videos on my office hours. I'll be doing videos for my classes and sending them. Well, I didn't realize that the students, they are not as organized as we are. So I'll be, "Hey, Dad," let's say you ask, "Hey, I'm having problem playing this polyrhythm snare thing." And I'll say, "Didn't I send you that 3 weeks ago? Now we got to go find that email." So I start putting on YouTube for free. So even to this day, if you go to YouTube, there's a lot of videos on, like if you click on my playlist, there's double bass, big. This is all for my Berklee students. That way I can send a link. But then was a lot of work for free, so we create the Drumset Coach, which is more organized, and we start charging. That's the whole reason. So they had a reason for it. And the reason was like, "Man, how can I make money?" It's to help people. And the books, the reason for the books is because Berklee has about 40 to 45 professors. And when I got there, it had 750 drummers. Let's say you're a professor and I'm a professor. And I have a polyrhythm class and I wrote an exercise and I have to go to the lounge, the teacher's lounge, to copy some handouts. Well, you and 5 other guys are copying handouts.
Yeah.
The machine breaks, you screwed. Now you don't have your handouts. So the reason number one for the book is like, I don't need the handouts. Buy the book. That's the whole course here. Also, I start to be really good about writing lesson plans.
Yeah.
So if you're taking this polyrhythm course with me, I'm going to say, here's the book, here's the whole course. And then I say, here's the lesson plan. And it has what we're going to do each week. Why? Let's say you say, "Hey, professor, I got to go to New York. to play a gig next week. What are we going to be doing so I can practice it? Look at your lesson plan. Week 3, we're doing this.
Yeah.
So that made me have time to have a cup of coffee in the morning. So I was struggling doing this handout stuff.
Yeah. So was it always your intention to become a teacher?
I always loved to be a teacher. I think I was born to be a teacher, man. I'm a performer. I like playing, but I love to teach. I just love to teach. And it's hard work, but I think it's because I like learning.
Yeah.
I like studying and I like creating. I have a new editor. He's actually in Russia, and he's a young guy. He's actually one of my students, and he's helping me with this project here, right?
Nice.
And I just wrote a piece this morning, and I talked to him on the phone, and he because the rhythms finale music program doesn't like my rhythms, because it's complicated bracketing stuff, and this kid, he's very fast. He's unbelievable fast.
Yeah.
So, and he's working with me now so fast that I can basically just tell him stuff, and he knows what I'm talking about. But I love teaching. I love creating. And when you teach, you learn a lot, because when one teach, two learn, right?
Right.
And also, one of the greater things about teaching, especially great players, is a lot of my books are inspired by the students' needs. Like when you teach a lot of people, the problems are kind of the same problems. I can give you one exercise that's gonna decide if the guy's a beginner or not right away. Like one exercise. All right, let's see if this guy's a beginner. Okay, go like this. You're gonna go chink dot chink dot dot. That no beginner can do that because they're not used to go down the foot on the bass drum and up with the hi-hat, right?
Yeah.
In order to hit the hi-hat, the right foot needs to go up and the bass drum. Try that with your students. Go taka 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 pisha taka pisha taka pisha taka pisha pisha pata pisha pata pisha pata pisha pata pisha taka. It's a coordination thing.
Yeah, I think I'm at a point in my life, like very much like you, where when you were younger, where like I don't teach at the moment because I see too many teachers doing it just for monetary gain. They don't do it for the students' benefit. And so I think I will only get into teaching when I'm doing it because I solely am doing it for them, and obviously the ships take us away for 7 months at a time. So there's not really that much time in between.
Right.
I wouldn't want to start with a student and then leave for 7 months, not be available, then come back. It would be like too mismatched. But in the future, I would love to. But like I said, for the reason exactly like you, where the primary focus is the development of the student and the cash is kind of just a side, it's just great that you're also getting paid. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that statement is a sign of good character. The way you're feeling that, and you say, I'm not doing it because if I do it now, it's not the right way to do it. Yeah. It's a good sign of good character. Now, the money is not a side. The money is important, but one thing that a lot of people get confused, like I'm extremely successful, right? When people go, I wrote a book, I go like, that's cute. I wrote 13 and I'm on my 14th. Or people goes like, I got an endorsement, man. I got a free drums. I got 8 drum sets. Do you ever met anybody that got 8 drum sets in the middle of a pandemic? Have you?
No, I haven't. No.
8 Sonar drums. 2 drums for me, 6 drums for the school for free in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
Why I'm saying that? Vic first makes my signature sticks, right? The best drum comp. But I want to also have a jazz stick. The middle of the pandemic, not only I have one signature stick, I have 2. Now, I'm not talking about I have this, I have that, I have that. I want you to ask why. Why?
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah.
Respect.
Credibility.
Respect. That's right. That's right.
But I think you're so right. I absolutely love what you're saying because it's like, you wouldn't go and see a fat dietitian or a fat personal
Yeah.
trainer, right?
We think alike. I tell my students, would you take marriage advice from a divorced guy, financial advice from a guy who's broke,
Yeah.
right? Like you said, So this is so frustrating because here's what's happening right now. You got a 16-year-old who started marketing, does amazing video, great light, great sound, never played with anyone, nobody,
Yeah.
never taught anywhere. But he looks so cool. He knows how to talk. He knows how to do that. And he's gonna say, "I'm gonna help you to be successful." You never play with anybody, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
I
you have no degree.
yeah.
Everybody on the Drumset Coach Academy has 2 degrees. A master. Danny Sanderson, my business partner, has 2 degrees. My wife has 2 degrees. I have 2 degrees. Also, I played with a lot of people in a lot of styles: Brazilian, Afro-Cuban, rock, big band. I learned a lot from that. But I don't have time to do marketing stuff. I play drums, so that's very frustrating to see people being a sheep instead of a lion. And you have to meet my elite group. I want you to talk to them
I would love to.
because think about this for a minute. This course at Berklee is 12 weeks, so you have 12 lessons. At the Drumset Coach is 16 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks of you start with me at the Drumset Coach is 2 months at Berklee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the when you're in college, you have another 10 to 12 classes. You don't have time. But the guys at the Drumset Coach, we do like, okay, we're going to do, we just finished 16 weeks of the polyrhythm course. And then we do another 12 weeks just hands. So it's very focused and you go really deep. So you have an impact on you playing.
Yeah, I absolutely, I cannot identify with it more. That's the reason why, like in the future, I would love my own academy. I'd love to do things like you're doing, but I don't, I want to do it when I've earned it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you have the credibility to do it, like we've just said, you wouldn't go to an overweight personal trainer because they don't even heed their own advice. So why would you heed that advice?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's exactly the same. When I go into teaching and I want to open my own rehearsal facilities and things like that, I want to do it because they're like, well, why should I come to you? And it's like, well, because I've done all of this, that's
Yeah,
what.
and also there's a legacy. I don't take credit of what I teach because, you know, I had Alan Dawson and Gary Shafee and Freddie Gruber and Jim Shaping and Dr. Joan Wooten, and then I had mentors like Phil Wilson and Wayne Oz and Greg Hopkins, all those guys that play with Buddy Rich. And I also have 2 mentors that has nothing to do with music, Leon Newman and Jim Peterson. Those guys are older men that helps me with spiritual ways and decisions. And so I have a lot of people that also taught me a lot that I can teach, that I can pass that along to other people.
But also as part of your program, you can draw on that experience as well. Drumming is not just about the physical ability to play drums, right?
Yeah, so my approach to teaching, well, I have 2 black belts. One black belt in Shotokan karate and a black belt in Goju-Ryu karate, so I'm a martial artist. And then I was in the military for 13 years on the United States Air Force.
Wow.
So I got the military, the karate, and also I have a master's degree in music. And I'm a Christian. I respect all religions, but I'm a Christian. So my teachings are heavily influenced by martial artist discipline, the military discipline, the musical academia, my faith, and then I was a street musician all the way to high school. So all this stuff is infused on my teaching. So to be honest with you, what I teach my students has nothing to do with drumming, actually.
Yeah.
I teach them things that if they learn it, they're going to be very successful. If they don't learn it, they're going to fail in everything,
Yeah.
which is patience, discipline, perseverance, humility, consistency, organization skills, planning, all that, and on and on and on and on and on and on. What's the humility? The humility is you have to be humble enough to understand that you're not going to be great fast.
Yeah.
Nothing that's great was built fast. So with the humility, you have to have patience. You can't learn in one lesson or two lessons. But humility and patience without consistency, you have nothing, because you have to have the discipline to work on your goals every day. Let's say you're bagging groceries on a grocery store and you hate that job and you really want to be a drummer. You have to maybe put 20 minutes every day, 30 minutes towards your dreams and your goals. So that consistency, the every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. And then you have to be a goal setting person. You have to set up, what is your goal for the next 5 years? And it boils down to your day. If you have control of your day, you have control of your week. If you have control of your week, you have control of the month, and then the quarter and the year, and then your life. And I tell this to the people that I coach. Randomness steals you from your greatness. More random you are, more wasteful you are. The the biggest treasure that you have is your mind. Biggest treasure is priceless. Billions of dollars worth of, I don't know, you can't put a price in your mind. And the other treasure that you have is time. So what do you do with your time and how you do your time is where is that?
Yeah. I mean, I just I cannot agree more. Like this is such an energizing, like I believe a lot in like energies and, like radiators and drains, like you meet some people who give off a lot of energy and some people that just take it all without giving it back. And so that like, I can just tell that I've met you in person and we played together. So I know it, what you possess in that sense is worth more than what you can physically teach in behind the drum kit from where I'm sitting anyway,
That's right. That's right.
you know?
And then, but music is a good tool to exercise all that stuff. Like, when I moved here, one thing that was a challenge is, I opened my school. We now have 130 some students, but I never taught, I taught beginners before, but for the past 10 years, I'm teaching Berklee guys. Now all of a sudden I have 12-year-old, 9-year-olds,
Yeah.
and how do you teach them discipline and all those things that I was talking about? And what I do, as soon as they come in, we have different tracks. They'll be on a track that I call, do you need anything? Oh, Erika's here. Do you want to meet Erika?
Yes,
He said thank you
please.
to you.
Oh,
Hello, Erika.
hello, hello.
Thank you so much for organizing all of this. It's so kind of you.
I didn't know he was on 5 week with me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, in like 2015, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I know.
That's going back.
Yeah.
So I start with little kids as music activity, right? It's not real music education. It is music education, but I say, okay, your goal is to learn one song. Once you know one song, you're gonna do a recital on the stage with a bunch of guys who only know one song. And at that level, it's like with backing tracks, because we have a little recital room at the school. So once they play a song with the audience and they clap and they see other people, they go like, oh, this is what this is about, right? So the next level is 3 songs. So we are planning. There is a plan. What is the plan? You're going to play 3 songs. What is the goal? Is to play on the stage. You're going to have the discipline to practice the songs, to do this and this and that. And then they play 3 songs. And after that, we go to a level 3, which is 5 songs. So in those events, a lot less students, maybe 4. And then they do 10 songs. So when they do 10 songs, they learn a lot about do what they said they're going to do and when I give a little certificate, I talk to the audience like how proud I'm of them that they, and then I invite them to switch tracks to the what I call the Conqueror. There is Voyager. Uh, what is that? Explore, Voyager, and Conqueror. So they're explorers because they're not really going deep, and then they become a Voyager, which is real music education. They're now gonna go into orchestral snare drum reading, rudimental reading, chart reading, styles, and then it's basically follow the Berklee model, but watered down for that age.
Yeah.
And then when they do an exam, they go into a 12-week program or a 16-week program. And then I do what I do at Berklee. I don't test them. I hire Berklee professors or local teachers to test them on this test. And then once they are level 2, level 3 is just exactly what I teach at Berklee for a performance major.
That's so incredible.
So after a year and a half, I now have students that are level 5, level 4, like at my school, the equivalent of a second, third semester college, but they're 13, 14.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, are you quite OCD with the way that things are structured? Did you learn that with Berklee, or did you have that before?
I was very organized before I went to Berklee as a teacher, because I went there as a student also.
Yeah, that's right.
But I just found some old notes. I was very organized already, but what Berklee did for me that's incredible, and I think that's why Berklee professors are the best teachers in the world, is because of the amount of classes that we teach.
Mm-hmm.
It's like giving 7 or 8 master classes every week.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the difference between a Berklee professor and, let's say, a world-class drummer that is very famous that gives clinics? Well, when a world-class performer gives a clinic, they go in a music store, they give you information, they go to the next town. They don't get feedback. They don't know if the way they present that works or not. At Berklee, I teach you a class. Next week you come back. I'm getting feedback if you learn it or not, and I can tweak. So it's like by the time I wrote this, I already taught this so many times.
Yeah.
I already know where you're going to have the problem with. Like, I'll give you an example. I know for a fact when I teach my pop rock lab, we start with, swing shuffle, blues shuffle, hip hop shuffle, 12-week shuffle. This is a problem for the shuffles.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
pop rock, funk. The week is like after midterm is New Orleans, and funk gives everybody a problem because it's syncopated, there is ghost notes. I already know that because I already did that like many semesters. So I already know when you get to that point, everybody's going to freak out,
Yeah.
It happens every time. So, that I was already organized, but Berklee really fine-tuned that.
Yeah.
It made me a much better teacher and was a great lab for me, to learn how to teach better. And I had bad days, on the beginning. I don't have those anymore as much, but, I have given lectures that, I look at people, nobody understands what I was saying. That's a problem. Right? And I'm thinking I was like, whoa, do you guys understand this? Everybody's like, so I had to go home and figure this out, I might have to explain this another way,
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example of that. If you if we go okay, so we're gonna play 5 against 1, and then he's 5 against 2, and he's 5. Do you guys got that? And everybody would be like, what? And then I would go back. Next class, I said, can you guys play that? Nobody can. Okay, so I figure a better way. So we're gonna play 5 against 1. But then we're going to just move the left hand. Oh, that's like a little example of that, like a tangible example.
But what I love about that is that you have to be so creative with that because you're also taking accountability as the teacher of like, well, they didn't get it, so it must be something that I did, not that they just can't grasp it. You know what I mean?
That's the best thing that Berklee did for me, because students come for me with questions. My job is to provide the answer, right?
Yeah.
So what high volume teaching does is if I give you an answer and the answer works for you, that's a good answer that I'm going to save it. So another guy asks the same thing. I already have this answer here for that problem that happened, but didn't work for that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, this doesn't work for that guy. I have to come up with another answer, right? Because everybody learns different. All of a sudden, you develop a system, and you have several answers, several solutions to the same problem.
Yeah.
And then you start understanding that this guy learned this way, this guy learned that way. That's why I created that multi-level system. Some person are more visual, some person are more, they have to hear. Some people learn really fast, some people really. So you really get good at it because you just try and error, and then all of a sudden, what happens is now 90% of my stuff works. I know it works as I see the results, you know.
Yeah, and I love that leveling system. That's one thing I really loved when I got to Berklee 5-week, is the first thing you did was assessments, so they could place you in your various categories, because it wouldn't be any good if you were down here and then someone was already up here by the time you did it and you were in the same class, you know, because you're just going to fall behind and then feel worse, you know.
We're Berklee, we're like experts.
Yeah. Oh my, it's like it's the number one school in the world, right?
Like somebody say, hey, I want to take you a double bass integration lab. All right, come to my office. I have like 4 or 5 little exercise. Play that. If they play that with no problem, they're ready to go to that class, you know. If they can't play those pages, I said, you're not ready for that yet, you know.
Yeah. So what does it take to become a Berklee professor?
That's a great question. It's a very tough to get the job, first of all.
I can imagine.
The amazing thing is like, if like all the things that I'm telling you, my endorsement, my life, I'm just watching the God show, you know. I'm not leaving all this like, man, I really do this. It's fun for me just to. I can't believe it, you know. I just watch and I wake up every morning and I still can't believe it, you know. I'm very lucky, but what Berklee looks for is okay. Let's say you interview to get a job at Berklee, right? So I'm gonna say, okay, you want to get a job here? What do you want to teach? What is your expertise? What do you say?
Oh, what would I say?
Just make stuff up.
Oh, like
just go along.
pop music.
Pop music. What is the 5 top pop drummers in your opinion?
Jeff Porcaro, Steve Gadd.
Can you teach them?
No.
That's how we think there.
Yeah.
I'm nowhere near those guys, but I say this without a heavy heart. I can totally show some stuff to Steve Gadd that he's gonna like it, that he doesn't know.
Yeah.
That's a Berklee professor. Omaha King is one of my all-time idols. He's one of the best drummers in the world. He used to come to my classes. He learned a lot of my classes. You know?
That's wild, isn't it?
You know, Mark Walker is like a multi-Grammy drummer. You know, when he wants to, work on his hand, he started my hand stuff. One time he's on tour in Europe. He's texting me, "Can you send Page blah blah blah?" He's working my stuff. It blows my mind.
Yeah, we were very, very lucky that we got to meet and we got to play in front of Victor Wooten. Carnival had him come in and do a bunch of workshops with us, and that was like unbelievable as well, you know.
I love playing with him, and I learned a lot with him, teaching with him, and also playing with his band. I play with him once in a while. But I want to say this, and you should put this on your podcast, and Eric is going to get a kick out of this. We have a lot of people that I teach that are legends, Grammy winners, golden records, and they don't want to tell people that they studied with me. which I feel bad because they could help me, but
Yeah.
that's fine. That's fine with me. I
Why
don't
do you
care.
do you think that's because they maybe don't want it to seem like they needed to be taught?
I think that this is a great topic because that's why I joke about I'm a lion, not a sheep.
Right.
Don't live on fear. If fear, it's insecurity. I changed the percussion. I didn't change it, but I know I was a very positive influence on the percussion department. You can ask this to Tony Smith, um, John Ramsey, because I did something that when I start doing, I could really see their faces. They couldn't believe. Like, I would go see another professor's clinics, and I'll go like, man, that was incredible. I learned, man, you on a whole other level. I'll just praise them.
Yeah.
They're not used to that.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of. This is why. Then, right?
Yes.
So let's say you play amazing, and I watch you play. That's not gonna change the way I play.
No.
Let's say you suck, right? And I get all happy because you suck. That still doesn't change the way I play. Whatever you do, it doesn't change me. I need to see how I'm gonna react to that. The only thing that's gonna change what you do is you.
Right.
So you need to think about what you're gonna do.
Yeah, I absolutely. Yeah, I love this topic because there's a guy who just released a book, Benny Greb. Do you know who he is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he released a book a few weeks ago. It was called Effective Practice for Musicians. And one of the things he covered is that, when people like Buddy Rich and Gene Krupa and all that were growing up, they only had maybe like 5 drum books, and they didn't have YouTube, they didn't have anything. And so they could just learn those and then develop their own style based off those. But now we have this like unbelievable wealth of things like coming at us from every angle. You might go to practice and think, oh, I did a great practice session tonight. And then you go on social media and someone is playing a blazing chop and you're like, oh, maybe I should do that then. And so you're getting pulled in all these different directions. What's your advice for that, to counter that?
Okay, 2 things. I totally disagree with anyone that tells you that they're gonna teach you how to practice. That's a lie. Hey, sign up for this course on how to practice. Well, it depends. I was just hanging out with one of the best drummers in Brazil. He came to visit at Berklee. He now plays with this big pop star that I used to play with. He doesn't play any jazz. He doesn't know any jazz. Why? There's no jazz gigs for him. He's useless. Not useless, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right? So nobody's going to tell you how to practice. I can coach you and help you to practice more efficient, but every individual is different. If you play on a cruise ship, let's say, I'll give you an example. I moved from Boston to Colorado Springs. In Boston, I had a drum tech, a whole crew. And I had a fusion band. And I played, my drums is a 20-inch bass drum, 18 bass drum, 12 snare, 14 snare, 8, 10, 12, 2 floor toms, and 11 cymbals. Why? I don't need to set up them. They set up for me.
Yeah.
They set up. I play the in-ear monitors, mics, and then after the show, I go to dinner. They pack it up, and I moved to Colorado Springs. I don't have roadies. Oh, I do have. I always have a tech, but it's not big stages.
Yeah.
Smaller places. So I had to set up. This is my new miniature fusion kit, which is actually a 10, 8, 10, 13, 14, 12, 13, and 16. So if you say, hey, let me teach you how to have a fusion kit, it depends.
Yeah.
Also, how I practice now, I changed the way I'm practicing because 99% of the venues I play now is acoustic.
Right.
So if you're asking me how I was practicing Massachusetts, how I practice now, I'm practicing things that I'm going to use on the immediate, of course, it's long term. So nobody can tell you what to, it depends on your level, what is your gigs, what is your goal. Like if you start with me and I'm preparing you to be accepted at Berklee, this is one type of practice. My whole focus is to pass this freaking audition,
Yeah.
right? Once you pass the audition, we're gonna change that relationship and do. So I don't believe in that. Second, so basically, what I set out that to say what nobody's gonna teach you how to practice because every individual is on a different level and they have different needs, right?
Yeah.
So it's not take one practice this and you'll be able to
Yeah.
play this great brushes gig.
Yeah.
But the guys in a heavy metal band,
Yeah.
you know. Second, I have a solution for that problem. I like to present solutions that works.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people with that problem. Every week
I
I see a student say, hey, I don't know what to practice, so much to do, and they start doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that. And the way I solve this, I stop teaching one private lessons. If you want to take one private lesson with me, it's going to be very expensive on purpose.
Right.
You still can do that. Let's say you have a gig, somebody's going to come on the cruise ship, and it's like a very famous Brazilian artist, top Brazilian artist. And they send you the music, and you see this groove that you don't know what it is. And you come, hey, I'm playing with this mega pop star, and there is this style. That's a good topic for one lesson, it's a specific.
Yeah.
But to solve that problem, when somebody started with me, I have a list of 30 courses that I teach, and they're usually 12 weeks or 16 weeks. If you work on anything for 16 weeks, it's gonna get an impact. You're gonna make an impact on your playing. Instead of sucking in 20 things.
Yeah.
Go deep into, spend some time with this, some time with that, and then you kind of, that's how I solve that problem. And how do I know it works? If you see the students that are doing that with me, they did 12 weeks of this, 16 weeks of that, they accomplish something, and they get better faster than the guys that are with me, let's say for a year, but today they want to do snare reading, tomorrow they're not building a house. They have all those little bricks, but nothing is finished.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely love that analogy. So it's just about narrowing focus then, I guess, on certain things rather than being pulled in every direction. It's like the line on the sheet mentality. I've been to auditions. I was at a cruise ship audition actually a few years ago, and it was a group audition. So they got you to learn, there were 4 drummers, 4 guitarists, 4 bassists, 4 keys players, 4 singers, and you learn all the same material so that they could interchange the bands and see which band they liked most or which band worked the best together. And I saw 3 drummers in a row. One drummer went up and he kind of played quite quietly, whatever. I don't know. He was afraid of the kit maybe. And so then the second guy went up, and because the audition panel didn't say anything, the second guy just followed suit. He did exactly the same thing because that's what he thought they would want. And so then the third guy went up and did the same. But instead of doing that, I was like, well, I would rather go up and play myself and fail the audition, but be authentic than follow them and still not get the audition.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's about that, just individuality to step out and say, do you know what? I'm just not going to follow what anyone else is doing. I'm just going to do what I do,
That's right. What you just said, every person that I talk is a coaching session.
Yeah.
Remember the comment you made earlier is a good character. What you just said is what changed my life. The minute that I said I'm not going to be a sheep, everybody's going that way. I'm going to do what I do. It's working wonders for me.
Yeah, clearly.
You should see the faces of the professors last fall when I said, I'm going to jump ship, man. I'm going to resign. I'm going to go to Colorado Springs to the mountains and open my own school. Half of them said, you're crazy. Man, you got some courage. But then the chairman of the Berklee Percussion Department, the former chairman, John Ramsey, he looked at me and he said, I'm a little concerned, but if there is one person that can do that, that would be you. And I swear that he said this. He said, if you open a school, students are going to learn more from you than learn here. He told me that.
And I'm
And it's
sure they
true.
are.
So I used to tour with Nando Loria. He used to be the singer for the Pat Metheny group. And they auditioned for percussion, and the guy did what you did, and he got the gig. So Pat Metheny is, I think they were in New York, and they had all those Brazilian, not Brazilian, all those percussionists to audition for the Pat Metheny group. And Nando Loria, my friend, the singer, he told me that this guy come in and then Pat, they're not playing, it's just tracks.
Yeah.
So the guy set up congas, timbales, all that stuff, and then Pat put a track, and this guy's like, you know, conga, timbales, and playing everything. The next guy come in, the next guy come in, the next guy. People from all over the world, including some heavy, famous people.
Yeah.
So then this guy comes in, Marçal from Brazil, and there is all this crap, and Pat puts the song. He's not playing anything, and then he said, "Let me hear first." So he heard the track, and then they play again. He just put a little shaker. He got the gig. He's like, you know, he went from being almost homeless to do 170 shows. He couldn't even speak English. He only say money, food, hungry, sleep. Tour all over. He's on a lot of the videos. Marçal, it's a black guy from Brazil playing percussion. He did what you did.
Isn't that such an incredible testament, though, to say, like, just be you, right?
Yeah, and he did what he thought the music need. He was not there to prove that he could play or not play, or you know.
Yeah, imagine how pissed off you would be if you went and you just followed suit and then you didn't get the audition. You would kick yourself because you'd be like, well, I was inauthentic and
Yeah. You know, I tell my students, like, there is this guy, he was not reading very well, and he just took the chart reading course with me for 16 weeks. He read 82 charts, and he can read now to a whole other level.
Yeah.
And then I was telling him before he took that course, I said, man, I tell that a lot to the kids, you know. I said, I'm old enough to be your father, you know, and I would hate you to lose an opportunity, like if you didn't get the gig on the audition because they're looking for something like this, but to lose an audition because you couldn't read,
Yeah.
or because your time was not good, or because you didn't know styles, those are things that there's no talent involved. It's just work.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to be in a situation where you couldn't play because you don't know what's written.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
you are like one of the best teachers on the planet. And so what would you advise to like we've spoken about students, what they should kind of structurally, what they should be doing. What would you advise for teachers?
you have to start with fundamentals. You have to have a list on your head of what are some of the things that every drummer must know. Now you gotta keep something in mind here. I teach the art of drumming, right?
Yeah.
Although you know I tour, I make a career in music, but regardless of if you want to play rock, heavy metal, jazz, Latin, you're gonna need hand technique. Okay, you need to learn how to work with this thing here, right? So I don't care which way you're gonna go. So my hand technique, you took technique with me. You know, you might have a heavy metal guy, a Latin guy, a rock guy, a all around, whatever. Your hand's not working, nothing's gonna work. I don't care. Then feet, you gotta work on your feet. And then the third thing is coordination. Right? Coordination of the limbs and what I call stylistic coordination, because when you play jazz, you're going to require certain kinds of coordination. When you play pop rock, other coordination, Afro-Cuban and Brazilian. When you have that foundation, it's going to be easier to chart read and easy to do the other stuff. Because I was listening to the great Gary Chester interview with Danny Gottlieb. It's an audio interview. He said something that's so true. Like, let's say they put a computer chip on your head and you know every rhythm that is, right? and you read in the chart, but if you're uncoordinated, that's going to throw you off. You know, if you're playing a songo, no 1 and 3 on the bass drum, right? And you're playing clave on your left foot, and you're going ting tak, and then all of a sudden you have to read pa 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 without everything is going to fall apart.
Yeah.
You know the rhythm, but you're uncoordinated.
Yeah, I absolutely, yeah, I love that because like I've spent so long, I've done Jojo Maya's hand, Secret Weapons for the Modern Drummer, the hands and feet one. The foot one changed my life because I went from playing in all the time because I was never taught any different. Yeah. And now I only play out because now you have an option of playing either in or out. You can do both, you know. And so
you probably became a monster now because I got those 2 DVDs and I watched for 2 minutes. It was too hard. I just quit. I never went into it.
Yeah, I just love it because it's like the analogy that I use in my head is like, you know, you get given a car at the start of playing drums or your drumming career or whatever, and you actually have the ability to make that car go longer, faster, you know, the move like this more smooth, and that equates to your technique. So, you know, you have the ability just by learning technique to just do whatever you want. You can improve that car. You could have a Ferrari and you could drive, you know, really fast, really long, whatever, or you could just focus on the wrong things and not really take like technique into account, and you won't go anywhere for not very long.
That's right. That's right.
And so the Jojo Maya stuff was just like mind blowing because I never really thought about it in terms of, you know, where are you holding it? Like where's your fulcrum, you know? And then, you know, your hand grips don't have to be the same. If you're in the ride, you might be using French, but on your left, you might be using German.
That's right.
So it's like you start having those conversations with yourself and watching yourself and thinking like, where am I, you know, on the kit? And then I did that, and I review it once a year, and now I do the same with my feet, and I'll never look back. The foot technique thing was like mind blowing, you know?
That's right. That's right.
And so I'm so glad you touched upon technique being the foundation of teaching.
Yeah, you know, it's like it's going to affect your sound and everything. You know, it's going to affect everything. And, you know, rudiments, you know, if taught correctly, rudiment can help with so many things.
Yeah. Plus also the systems, right? What I love about your teaching is you teach the systems so that you can construct them yourself. You don't have to memorize those patterns, right?
Yeah, you have to thank Gary Chaffee and Alan Dawson. Those are 2 big, you know, I learned a lot from them because, especially Alan's, because he had those building blocks, you know, everything was connected. You learn the 26 American rudiments, you learn the Swiss, you learn the innovation, chop building, and then you got the ritual.
Yeah.
You learn the 8-way coordination, then you had those drills, you know.
Yeah.
But you got to check out the Ultimate Hand Technique Workshop.
I will.
How we are doing that, orchestrating the whole thing on the set is really exciting stuff.
I definitely will. We'll have a conversation after the podcast because I would love to get your thoughts on some life coaching things. So we'll definitely talk after the podcast about those. But when students are auditioning for Berklee, I'm sure you've auditioned a lot of students, and what sorts of qualities are you looking for in those drummers?
Well, there is different auditions, okay? There is the entering audition, which is to see if you're going to be accepted for the college. And then once you accept, and then we check like your snare reading, we check chart reading, we take a look at basic styles. Nothing, you know, we're just trying to figure out who this person is. And we ask that you bring a prepared piece.
Right.
And then if you get accepted, then there is a placement audition that you went through at 5-week. Like, where is this guy at, right? And then what we look for on a prepared piece is for you to be yourself. Show us who you are. And a lot of people fall in this trap that they want to play jazz for us because the tradition of jazz at Berklee. But we don't want to do that. If you're a rock guy, if you're good at that, rock out. If you're a jazz guy, play jazz. If you're play what you love and let us know what that is. But both the entering audition, especially the placement audition, is really based on how well we think you'd be playing a band.
Right.
He's a big thing that people don't understand, how a lot of people think at Berklee. I can't speak for the whole college, because every professor is different, but the the placement audition and ensemble audition is based on, because you can have a student that spent 3 months learning a Dream Theater song, and he rehearsed, and he's going there, he's gonna go, very challenging, amazing. And then you ask them to play some really simple, they can't play it, they can't read, they don't know the styles. So that individual gonna have a high grade on the instrumental skills, but then the reading slow, the style is slow, rhythm accuracy is slow. So he really, although he played that song high level, he's really not a good musician on a band yet. So we put emphasis on not how well you prepare something, but how well can you play with a band right now that you never played. I'm coming from a generation that I was a session musician, which that profession doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I made a living playing drums. I was a session guy, so I had to play Afro-Cuban, Brazilian, funk, rock, big band, jazz. I did a lot of stuff for HBO, Sony Liston documentary, Malcolm X documentary with Kamala Campbell, producer, jingles, big band. I mean, I played a lot of stuff with people that I never saw before. How you do that? Like Vinny Colaiuta is a great example of that.
Yeah.
In order for you to be able to walk in, we play with any band, you have to read, you have to have a vast knowledge of Brazilian styles, Afro-Cuban styles, New Orleans style, pop rock. And when I say pop rock, it means early swing, rock and roll, blues shuffles, halftime shuffle. They stuff I teach in my pop rock class. Hip hop shuffle, 12/8 shuffles, 8-note grooves, rock ballad, cross stick, funk, reggae grooves, funk grooves, country and western grooves, funk, you name it. You have to know all that stuff and play somewhat with authority. Brazilian styles, bossa nova, samba, partido alto, baião, maracatu, Afro-Cuban, 6/8, songo, mambo, guaguancó, conga, all that stuff, because you don't know what they're going to ask you to play.
Yeah.
That's actually interesting topic, because my drum set is kind of the same for 30 years. Like, my drum set is not a jazz drum, it's not a rock drum. It has cowbells, because I don't know if I need to play light. It has a double pedal. I'm not a thrash metal player, but I can play if I needed to.
Yeah.
I can play jazz. It's like a all around approach.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys, in order to be able to be on a position that you can, like, you probably have to play quite a bit of different things, I'm assuming, on a cruise ship, right?
Yeah.
So if you get a guy I'm a rock guy or I'm a heavy metal guy, you're not going to work as much.
Yeah. So you're looking for students who are massively adaptable then?
We are not looking for students. We're trying to help students to accomplish whatever they want to accomplish.
Right.
With the responsibility that they can understand, they need to understand the consequences of their choices. I'll give you an example. I'm teaching this heavy metal guy private lessons, and at that level, I think it's level 3, that has a lot of brushes on the final exam. You need to learn ballad, swing, basic brush stuff. And I said, we're going to have to do that stuff. Do you have a pair of brushes? Man, I don't have brush. I never played one. I hate brushes. He said, I hate brushes. I said, well, we got to, at this level, we're going to have to study some jazz. I said, I hate jazz. I love his honesty,
Yeah.
He hated brushes, hated jazz, all of that. And I had a conversation with him. I said, listen, we're going to practice this enough for you to pass this proficiency, but I want to talk to you about something. And then I said, go to lunch with me tomorrow. And we met for lunch. And basically, I took him to lunch, but I talked to him about, in a nutshell, I was telling him, I was coaching him and counseling him, do whatever you want to do, but understand that when you take a certain path, you're going to work a lot less.
Yeah.
If you hate Latin, jazz, all that stuff, that's fine. Play what you want to play, but you're going to play a lot less gigs. So sometimes you're going to have to work at FedEx or bagging groceries, or you might have to, drive a cab sometimes if your heavy metal band's not working. Why this other guy can have all those other gigs still
Yeah.
with music?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, we, he did what he wanted to do. His band also had a lot of profanity on the lyrics, and I tell him that's fine. You want to have this type of lyrics, but you just isolated this whole other customers here. This entire side of the population is not going to buy your music. I'm not criticizing or judging anyone. I just wanted to understand that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you're free to go punch somebody in the face. You're gonna be arrested. Might be in jail.
Yeah.
That's what comes with that. you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
my
Listen,
last the
yeah,
last
go on.
time I say what
Yeah, go on.
the last time I went to PAS was 2 or 3 years ago, and Erika was with me, and I had a chance to go to lunch with a lot of people: Greg Bisonet, Paul Wertico, Valfredo Hayes. Who else was there? Cindy Blackman. I mean, a lot of great drummers. And I'm always thinking about my students everywhere I go, right? And I ask all those guys, hey, send a little message to my students. What is your advice for my students? Because those guys are the top guys.
Yeah.
And once in a while there's different things, but one in common theme was everybody was saying learn as much styles as you can because it's getting tough out here. You gotta play like everything.
Yeah.
So basically that one's thing that kept like repeating itself.
Yeah. So that would that be your advice as well?
It worked for me. I mean, I couldn't when I got the gig at Berklee. um I couldn't believe I got this gig, man, because the drummer from The Voice, he
Uh,
auditioned. He didn't get the gig.
Nate
uh
Smith?
yeah, he auditioned. I got the gig. The drummer of Billy Joe auditioned, I heard, and he didn't get the gig. The drummer of Joe McLaughlin auditioned. He didn't get the gig. You know. So when I got the gig, I was like, "What the hell?" It's like God is amazing, right? God said. So then I show up to work. And they said, "Hey, we don't care about if you're famous. We care about can you teach Brazilian, Afro-Cuban, big band, brushes, double bass, polyrhythm." I mean, they stuffed, and I said, "Oh, that's why I got the gig."
Yeah.
Right? Because if this is funny, like I'm gonna share something with you that's very private that goes on my head sometimes.
Yes, please.
Stuff that goes on your head, but you
Yeah.
really don't want to say it, right? I'm thinking as a joke, I want to put a job offer for my school.
Yeah.
The Drumset Coach Academy is looking for a full-time teacher position. Requirements: have to have 2 black belts, 2 degrees, including a master's degree, at least 20 years of college teaching experience, must have written at least 10 books with major publishing companies, and the books must be adapted in a major university. Area of expertise: orchestral playing. Must have played on a professional orchestra for 10 years. Have to have military rudimental expertise. Have to be played on a military band for 10 years or more. Have to be an expert on Brazilian music. Must have played with Brazilian pop artists and Afro-Cuban pop artists. Have to have studio experience. Have to have a record of employment for 20 years, with the last 10 years making us, a 6-figure salary. So that means that you're not a panhandling on the street. Have to be bilingual, okay? And we prefer that you have a family so you understand kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go on and on and on. You're not going to find anybody. You're
No,
not going to find anybody.
I agree. I agree.
Have to have study with at least 5 masters of all times on the drums.
Yeah, it's a pretty high bar.
and have to be currently teaching over 100 students currently to get the job.
Yeah, I don't think you would find anyone, to be honest.
It's weird, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But it's such a good endorsement for your business, right? It's such an incredible.
I can't say. I would never say that. You know?
I mean, I'm talking about you. Like you are your business. You are an incredible endorsement. Like if I was in Colorado, you would want to be taught by you, right?
Yeah, but people don't know. This is the thing. I can't say that. I'm not a marketing guy. You know?
Yeah.
And here's the kicker. Like we started this interview, you know, there's days I think I suck, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean,
But
yeah.
but I think it's funny, you know, like life presented those opportunities. And on a serious note, you know, I was goofing around, but on a serious note, I bring this to the classroom. You know, when I'm teaching you about certain things, I lived it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like if I'm teaching you rudiments, I use that. I
Yeah.
know the reason for that.
Yeah.
Why does rudiment was created? Do you know?
Yeah. Well, and you probably refined a bunch of it, right? You probably used an old system and then refined it in your own way, which again is like shows expertise in that area.
Yeah, I saw a guy one time playing a rudimental piece on a final exam. He's playing really fast. I said, "Hey, do you know why rudiment was created?" He said, "No." I said, "Do you know why we use rudiments?" He said, "No." I said, "To march soldiers. You're playing too fast,
Yeah.
or somebody who played too slow."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I had a world class drummer step into my office. He's a friend of Omaha King, like a legendary drummer. And then he walked in to hang out. I said, "Hey, yesterday on your clinic, you told students that rudiments are not important." I would stop saying that if I were you, because on the old world, that not might be. I said, "How many marching bands do you think exist in the United States? Take a guess." I don't know the number.
Oh, you
It's
want
a
me?
lot.
Yeah, a
No,
lot.
I don't have the answer. How many marching bands in the United States? How many orchestras is on the entire United States, including on the school system? How many drum corps groups there is in the United States? You know, Blue Devils and all that stuff, right? How many colleges has music program? Somebody needs to teach rudiments to all these people,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Another professor told me one time, you know, everybody's saying, because on my office I had a piccolo snare, a field drum, and a regular snare. They don't even know why, right? Because they never play in orchestra.
Yeah.
And then this guy, he's one of my heroes. He told me, "Yeah, this rudimental thing is cool, but you know, where are you going to use it?" He said it. I said, "Man, when I was in the Air Force, I played snare drum. When I was in Brazil, I played snare drum. I played snare drum in orchestra, and I'm making money with the rudiments right now.
Yeah.
I'm teaching rudiments right. I bought a house teaching rudiments."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I told him, "Works for me." He didn't say anything. What
Yeah.
do you say to that?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Well,
Alan Doss used to say there's two types of drummers: the ones that play rudiments and know they play rudiments, and the ones that play rudiments but they don't know they play rudiments.
absolutely love that. And I just love that, you know, your lion and sheep mentality and attitude. I think it's so important in today's world of, you know, like unlimited possibility, and just to be uniquely yourself. Like being yourself is what makes you different now, you know?
That's right.
So I
I
love
think,
that.
yeah, I think it's like not only like be yourself, because you know you're really influenced by all my mentors, but
Yeah.
if I rephrase it, it's like stick to your convictions. If you
Yeah.
know, if you think this is right, be courageous to, like what you did on your audition. You had to have some sort of courage.
Yeah.
You know, was a defining moment for you. Like, do you stick to your guns and to your gut feeling that you believe this is the way to go, or you're gonna be a ship? Everybody's going that way,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna just follow them. You are lying then.
Yeah.
You like you took a risk,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because I think the payoff was I would never be able to live with myself afterwards if I didn't. You know what I mean? That was my consequence, is that I would have to live with that decision, you know?
Yeah, my wife is my she's the one that pushes me, because she said, we are Christians, you know. She really believed that we are supposed to be back here.
Yeah.
And she had a conversation with me, and I said, hold on a minute. After 10 years, I just got promoted. I teach at the best music school in the world. I'm like, I just got my early promotion, and you telling me that I'm gonna quit all. I said to her, do you know how many people wants this job? Probably thousands. And you telling me to quit all that, go to Colorado Springs and open my own school. That's the plan.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we did it, man.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I can't. I still to this day I teach there every day, every night when I leave my school. Before I shut everything, I swear, I kneel down and I pray and I thank God. I can't to this day. You know, I always pray on the way in and the way out. I can't believe it still. I can't believe I have my own school.
Yeah, because I think hope leads by sight, but faith doesn't, right?
Yeah, well, that's a whole other conversation. I have a lot of God really. I need to write the book of Henrique with all my testimonies. He really changed my life, and uh, I have so many signs that he's involved
Yeah.
on a lot of. But you know, I just think I kneel down and think, because you know, I can die tomorrow. We can lose stuff during the pandemic. We check this out. During the pandemic, we're more profitable than ever before. What the heck? How is that possible?
Yeah.
You know, we shut down the school, move everybody to Skype and Zoom, and we kept going, and we are more profitable during the freaking pandemic.
Yeah, it's wild.
If you told me that, like, and when we left Boston, we didn't know the pandemic was going to happen.
Yeah.
It was like right on time.
Yeah. It worked out per divine timing, right?
Yeah.
But I would just want to thank you so much. This has been so incredibly energizing, and everything that you've said has just resonated so much, especially the bits about like credibility and things like that. It certainly helped me again. Thank you, because in 10 years time I'll probably mess you again and be like, oh, you remember when we had that podcast and now I'm doing X, Y, and Z? That was because you
I hope we talk more often now.
Yeah, no, we definitely will. We definitely will. I'm just saying, it's like those momentum, those things in your life that happen. You think that guy said this at that point in my life where I really needed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so thank you for that.
Welcome. It was a pleasure. I would like to say sometimes I hate watching my podcasts and my interviews with people, because when I watch, I was like, man, it's so much energy. It's like over the top.
I love it.
But I think you need that.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're gonna do what I do, you kind of need that. And sometimes it's like, if you make a living doing that, it's kind of hard to shut it off. But I'm working on this.
Yeah. So I'm going to end the podcast there. So thank you very much. And then